So pyramids and cones. Today is the 2nd of February. No, 25th of February. 2021. So we just talked about and discussed and showed how it is 1/3 of the volume, where we took a cube and we broke it down to make it into a rectangular pyramid. So then how does the volume of a cone compare with the volume of the cylinder with the same base? Think of what we did before, but now imagine cutting up a cylinder to become a cone, like an ice cream cone, upside down ice cream cone. What do you think that one is going to be? What do you think the volume for that's going to be? Coming from a cylinder, shaving off the sides, then using a drill to do it. What do we got? What do you think? What? No, what do you think? What do you think the relationship is? So we just wrote that it's 1/3 of a cube is the square prism, or a cube. Square prism, 1/3 is a square pyramid. Goodness, I'm trying to read without looking. What do you think? So we did 1/3 is the volume when we took a cube, made it into a rectangular prism. What about when we take a cylinder and make it into a cone? What do you think, Layette?
Like
half. Good guess. Anybody else? Yes. Wait, I haven't heard from you yet today. Half? Yeah. A third? Yeah, it is a third. It is also 1/3. It is also 1/3 of the volume. It is also 1/3 of the volume. And the formula for this is 1/3 base times height. I did that all 3 class periods today now. I'm going to do it again, watch. Okay, 1/3 base times the height, because we know that the base, and keep in mind, as it says right below it, remember the B stands for the area of the base of the pyramid. The area of the base of the pyramid. So we're taking what would be a cube, and we're taking 2/3 of it and just having it go away, because that's the part that we chopped off. And rather than doing just the floors, because each floor is going to get smaller. Remember how we had the building connection with the prisms? Right? Okay. Sorry, I'll tell you later. So here's the example. We have the volume, which is 1/3 the base. So remember, the base is going to be the first floor of a shape. That's what we were doing yesterday, or the other day, so I'm going to keep it like that. Ooh, that's whatever. There. So we got gold in the bottom of the pyramid there. So the area of the base, which is the very bottom, and then you have to count how many floors it goes up. So we have 1/3 times the base is going to be, I'm going to highlight that in yellow so you can tell what's what. And you know that the square base, length times width, so we have 7 times 8. And it is going to be, the volume is 112 inches cubed. Now, are these going to be bigger numbers or smaller numbers compared to what you had on your homework last night, you suppose? Smaller. About a third smaller, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, I'm just making sure we're all on the same page here, okay? Now we have 1/3 base times the height. So just going from the example that we have above it, now it's our turn. I'm going to do green. We have 1/3, so that's going to stay the same. What is the area of the base? Stoby. 12 times 4. I'm going to use parentheses on all of them. Best classroom in the world, 304. Hi. Sure. Bye. Can you swing past the main office for me? So you said he'll be right back up. So somebody who has legible handwriting, can you take over for him? So we have 12 times 4, which is the base. That's the bottom floor. But then you start taking the elevator up, so you have to multiply the height, which is going to be 8. Notice how the height now is on the inside of that pyramid. It's going to be like an elevator shaft right through the middle. Okay? Elevator shaft right through the middle. So I'm going to do that calculation in my calculator. So it's going to be 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 8 is going to be 80 plus 48, which is 128. Yeah? 28 units squared. Good. Units cubed. Units cubed. Because once again, to use my rulers, because this measurement is linear. This measurement is linear. Squared, because it's 2-dimensional. Cubed, because it's 3-dimensional. That's why it's cubed. Huh? Yeah. So we have linear. That's going to be like on a number line how far away it is. This one here is going to be 2-dimensional because it is a plane. This one here is going to be 3-dimensional because you're multiplying 3 things. Okay? Yes. Yes, sir. Quiet over there. Because that's not, we can't, mathematically, it's there, because you will get into multiple dimensions mathematically, but it doesn't, it's intangible in our reality. Okay? It's not tangible in our reality. Yes?
What is a fourth dimension?
But you'll get into that in college. Yes?
So I went to Disney World and there's like a theater there and there's 40 shows and all it did was like there are little holes in the seats and poke your butt and then there's like big sprays. And then for 40 and spray water on your parade.
Yeah, I've never, that's just another dimension. So you can see it, you can smell it. So it's talking about the senses rather than that. Anyway, back to this. Yes, different dimensions. That went a lot different than I wanted it to. Remember, B stands for the area of a cone. I just wrote down it's the same thing, the same formula. The same formula. Thank you so much. So once again, here it is, an example. We have a cone that is 1/2 base times the height. And I want to talk about common errors that I'm seeing on your homework. And a lot of times it's making you have really bad grades because you're not paying attention to the fact that this here is a radius. It's the radius. If you see one go all the way across, that 3 centimeters is representing the diameter. Please remember to do that right. So, area of a circle, the area of a circle equals pi r squared. I want you to write this radius, not diameter. The only time you're going to use a diameter is if you use that form of the circumference, which is one-dimensional. Yes, ma'am?
Why do we have to do like a smaller egg?
I just, because it's circle, it's the area of a circle. I didn't feel like doing a circle like I did the other class period because it looked like AO rather than
You
circumcision.
told us that like this is supposed to be a smaller egg.
Just mathematically correct, the same way that rather than doing the word PI, you write that symbol. Yes? I said 1/2 again? Goodness. Yeah. So we have here, let me just separate that. Base is going to be a circle, which is going to be pi r squared. So we have 1/3 pi r squared times 11, and that's the height. That is the height. Yes, sir?
What would 1/3 be? Like if you actually converted it into numbers and then you multiplied it by.
I'm going to tell you guys how you should do that on your calculator here in a minute. Okay? I'll show you how you do it. Ooh, also, those of you who don't have a pi symbol on their calculator, Or if you do, here's what I want you to do. Everybody who has their calculator out right now, don't go fussing to get them out right now. But if you have them out, do this. 22 divided by 7. What does that equal? It is the closest fraction, closest simple fraction as you can make to pi. Okay, so if you don't have a pi and I was asking you to use pi, even without the pi symbol, you could use that. But I'll show you guys how you to accurately do that 1/3 in your calculator here when we do this example. So here's an example. That 13 meters is talking about the height of it, not the slant height. Slant height is for surface area. So we have 1/2 base times height. What am I going to use for the base, the area of the base? Jack, can you tell me?
For the base, you would do 5 squared times 5.
So I'm going to do 3.14. So that's just the base, 5 squared times pi. And then we have to do the height as well. 13. Good. Now, this is the way that you would work this into a calculator. By the way, guys, test Monday. There's still a lot of you who don't have a calculator yet. You will not come close to finishing the test if you don't have a calculator. Okay? Make sure you get a calculator. Don't rely on someone else or one of your buddies to have it because you got to count it yourself, figure something out with that, work something out. Yeah.
Could I use a vacuum test to get it
Yes, but when we start the homework. All right, so we have 5 squared is 25. You shouldn't need to put that into your calculator. 5 squared times 20 or 25 times 3.14 times 13. So go ahead and do these ones first. So you do 25 times 3.14 equals, then you do times 13 equals. Then what you're going to do is you are going to divide that by 3. Divide that number by 3, and I'm going to show you why that works here in a minute, or remind you how that works here in a minute. What number did we get? 340.1666, and we're going to be rounding to the nearest hundredth because that's how it is on the homeworks. We have meters cubed. Now, the reason that dividing it by 3 works the same is because if I had 9 divided by 3, I would get 3. Also, if I had 9 times 1/3, that is going to be 3. Okay, so if you multiply by a fraction, it's the same thing as dividing by the whole number. Okay, it's multiplying by the reciprocal. Reciprocal is where the denominator and numerator flip. Yes, sir. Darn it, I knew I was going to do it again. Pretty straightforward. Any questions? No? Goodbye, YouTube. I love you.